computer's fine. Hi, everyone. This is third week for CE 26, and we are starting our first lab session that will include some data analysis using some data that is provided by the TIMS transportation injury mapping system that is hosted and maintained by UC Berkeley and their safety center. And what we are going to do is we are going to explore that portal. And once we explore that portal, we're going to try to answer some very basic questions that might be just directly available from the data. And then we're going to dig a little bit deeper into thinking about what type of research questions could we potentially answer with the data that might be available at TIMS. And I have already divided the class into groups of 3. And there is one group that is a little bit larger of 4 students, but I've already divided the class into multiple groups. And you're going to be working on this as groups. So again, I'm going to divide the class into breakout rooms once we get started, once I've given all the instructions to you all. And then once we get started on it, we will, once we figure out what our research question is going to be, we are going to then download some data, relevant data for that research question. And then once we have that data in place, we will be running some analysis on it using R. So we're gonna write some codes, generate some data. I did post that lab online. So let me go ahead and share the screen first. And let me go to Chrome here. So we are on Chrome now, and I'm gonna switch over to the student view. So this is our first lab, lab 1, exploration of crash data with TIMS. I'm gonna go ahead and set that up. Again, I have included some more resources, so some of the R programming resources that are right above it. There are some R tips and tricks that I included based on the questions that I heard during our first sort of basic tutorial for doing R. And then there is a portal to visualize data that I talked about in the last class. So I think there might be some helpful hints there as well as to what type of chart to use, depending upon the analysis that you're considering. So I want to acknowledge we have Amanda Tran here. She was very helpful in our previous lab. She helped out a bunch of student groups, and she is a student who is an undergraduate student and helping us out with the class because she's a data science student and has a lot of experience in analyzing data with R. So she can help us out a little bit as needed. So, and she does have to leave at 9:40, which is fine. Because she has another class ongoing on this Thursday. But we can, if there are any questions that come up, we can ask her up until then. But then also, I'll be here to help out as well. So I'm going to go ahead and open this lab assignment. So there is a Google Doc link that you can go to. That's where you'll find all the details of the lab. So this is where you can locate the lab. So it has all the details. So I will leave you to it up in just a second. And then here are all the final submission that's required. The due date is February 4th by 11:15 a.m. So basically, once we get done with that lab session, I expect everybody to be able to submit, these 3 items. I want you to be able to submit the PDF report, the RMD or R file, and then the data set from TIMS that you used for this project. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open the Google Doc that I was talking about earlier. And what we're going to do is, if you click on this link, it takes you to TIMS.transportation injury mapping system, and it has you can register and sign in. So I would recommend that you guys register, and the account making is free. So I would recommend that everybody should just register for this portal. And then this portal provides you a lot of different databases. So if you kind of go and look into different tools that are out there, Swift Risk Query, safety PM, map viewer, motorcycle collision map. So if you look at about link, so that kind of gives you an idea about who maintains this website. SWTRS is basically a California statewide integrated traffic record system. And it is basically a system where all the crashes that occur in the state of California get reported. Now, it's not to say that there are no errors in here. I'm sure there could be some errors in the portal. There could be something, but there is a lot of good data in there that I want you to explore. So that's one thing that you're going to do as part of the assignment, is that you're going to create the login. I would hold off on creating the login just yet, unless you've already done so. You were so quick to do it. I just want to make sure that we go over this. So this is all the actions that you need to take as part of the lab. Create an individual account in TIMS. If you see any item in this bulleted list to be bold, that item would have to be included in your submission. So in your submission, I want you to list out currently maintained tools in the portal, read the description of each tool, report the importance of the safety performance measurement target setting tool. So that information you'll find on the portal as well. And then using this report, the safety performance target setting tool, and either that tool or some other tool in TIMS, I want you to find 3 California counties with highest numbers of fatalities per year. Okay, so highest number of fatalities. 3 California counties with highest rate of fatalities. So rate could be defined by population. So I want you to do that. And then 5 California counties with highest number of injuries, fatalities for non-motorized road users. So more vulnerable road users that are not in an automobile or a motorcycle. So looking at those sort of vulnerable for road users. And this you should be able to, you should not require, although you could definitely download some data and do some, coding, fancy coding with it, but this generally would not require you to do any kind of fancy coding or anything. You should be able to just get that information directly from some simple data that you might be able to directly download from the tool. And then you will report based on the most up-to-date. So this is sort of per year. So most up-to-date data available. So this is highest number of fatalities we're talking per year. Okay. So we'll do it based on per year, meaning like if, let's say if the most recent data available is 2019, then we'll use the 2019 information for our, it'll be so interesting to see, and again, this might be beyond the scope of this work, but it will be so interesting to see, and I think a lot of people are already looking at that question, is that how COVID-19 related travel pattern changes affected those numbers. But for now, we'll just sort of report what happened in the most recent available year. And my understanding is that that year is still 2019. And then I want you to do is SWTRS query. I just want you to exercise a SWTRS query and map system download the most complete year of crash data for the US 101 corridor in the SLO County. So I want you to look at just the US 101 corridor in SLO County. Again, this is not something I want you to submit. This is just to make sure that you can query the data. You are familiar with how to work with the data there as well. Okay, so let's see. So we'll just make sure that we can download our data in there. And let me see, I'm trying to see something. Okay. And then the other thing, I think we are recording, right? Can you guys see that if I'm recording or not? Okay, we are recording. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I just for a second, I doubted myself if I hit the record button or not. So I'm glad I did. Okay, so just to go back to the class discussion, this is just to, this SWTRS query download is just there to make sure that you guys can download the data. Okay, and then this is the one where things get sort of interesting. And this is something more challenging as you move forward. You're going to be working in groups, and I'm going to leave you in the breakout rooms for at that point. but you will be formulating a research question related to traffic safety that you maybe answer using data available on TIMS. And now this question does not have to relate to SLO County. It could, but it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to relate to US 101 corridor. It just could be any question, safety related question that you may be able to use data from TIMS that you can download and then do some coding with it and answer some questions to it. In the past, I've had, and I'm not going to reveal how you do that, but in the past, I've had students that looked at, questions related to crashes that occurred during weekends versus weekdays. There are some questions that relate to, and you can formulate more specific questions, right? So you will be you will be coming up with more specific questions that you can answer with the data. I'm just kind of giving you some broader threads that you can pick up on. And I've had some students look at if there is a way to tell, the effect of daylight saving related time changes on crashes, right? So maybe there is something to that. So I've had some students look at that. I've had students look at, if there is a way to track back where the alcohol related crashes might be occurring, if there is a pattern to that, drunk driving related crashes and so forth. So I will leave that question completely open-ended, but you guys will be part of a group. And in that group, you can try to formulate those questions. And then you will write an RMD or R file script using R to address the question. So you will be downloading some data from TIMS, and then you'll take the data into R, like you learned in the previous R exercise. And then you will be creating some plots, like using ggplot or whatever R markdown tools that might be out there. You'll be sort of maybe summarizing the data in tables. You might be looking at creating some tables, some charts, some figures to try to answer that research question that you formulated. Okay? And then once you do that, you will document your finding on research questions in a report that includes a brief introduction, appropriate figures and tables, and narratives as analysis and discussion and conclusion. And then what I've done is I've provided a rubric that I will be grading you on. So I want to make sure that you submit all 3 deliverables. You answer questions about the California counties that I talked about. You formulate an appropriate research question. And how do you know your research question is appropriate? I want to make sure that you are, once you formulate a typical question or a question that you want to answer, you talk to me. Your group needs to discuss it with me, and I need to approve that question. And if I provide any feedback, I want to make sure that you incorporated that feedback into your research question. So that's how you secure the points of that thing. And then you will working with code with comments. So you submit a code that works and the code that has, that has all the appropriate comments. So, when you do any kind of code writing, always a good exercise to make sure that you are writing, you're writing good comments. So what every piece of code is doing. So that if let's say you write a code to summarize the data and generate some charts, and let's say you're taking another class where basically you're doing the same thing, but maybe you want to do it on a different data set. But if you have your own code available, you can use that code to work on a different data set, and having some of those comments might then be very, very helpful. So we'll try to write some good code with comments. And then we'll take the appropriate charts and tables and we'll copy paste them over into our report. So you want to include all the appropriate charts. And this is where sort of, that portal that I talked about, how to find that good chart for the research question that you're dealing with might be helpful. So exploring that would be useful. And then you need to write an organized report where you discuss your findings, discuss your research questions, discuss what you do to do that. So include your analysis and your graphs and discussion about those graphs. And then you conclude, like, how you answered the research question that you started off with. Okay. And then, there are some points for that. And then, obviously your error report should be error-free, should be well organized, and so on and so forth. So here is what I will suggest the report ought to be. You can write that report, and you can report, all the initial listing of the tools, and the importance of the performance management tool and all these, the first three deliverables, you can include that as an appendix to your final report on crash data analysis. So I'll just say, okay, so I will just include that as an appendix to your report. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then all these things should also be, okay, so just make sure that you include that, all of these initial deliverables also as an appendix to your report. Okay. All right, so what I will do is, for now, I will leave you on here. So you can all explore Tim's. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat box. I'm not going to create the breakout rooms just yet, because right now it's just, you're all answering the same question, and you can sort of do it individually. But once you guys are done, up until the part where you are looking at you're done with these appendices part of the report, and when you get to the main course, when you're done with these pieces, then I want you to start thinking about what that research question might be. And once you do that, once you're done with the first three parts of the exercises, just let me know. And then I will, as a critical mass of students reach that point, I'll start assigning folks to breakout room. I'll start inviting folks to join breakout room by their group. And then you can join those breakout rooms and start thinking about your specific questions. And then I want you to do that as a group exercise. Again, this is going to be a group assignment. So there is no individual assignment. All of the submissions is going to be just one. And I've assigned one student as a group leader. The group leader has no role except for the fact that they are the ones who is going to be submitting the report. But obviously, I want every student to contribute to that report equally. So working on a shared document or a shared Google document would be fine. Would be very useful to you guys, so that everybody's contributing. So again, I will stop here now unless there are any questions about the lab. So for now, I see something in the chat, so we'll address that. No, just the top counties. So I'm not looking for, so the question is, appendix of California fatality appendix, are you looking for extensive one for every county? No, I don't even need the details of how many fatalities. I'm just looking for the name of the three counties that established most fatalities. But I want you to find that information, not by doing an independent Google search, but make sure that you can work with the TIMS database. So work with the TIMS. I just need the name of the three counties. And if you want to add the number of fatalities per year, that's fine for the year 2019. That's fine with me. So again, I don't need extensive details, just the names of the county and how many fatalities what is the fatality rate would be just fine. Thank you, Will, for that question. And again, please feel free to ask any questions. There are no stupid questions. There are no wrong questions. Only bad questions are the questions you don't ask. So please feel free to chime in with any questions. And as you sort of move forward with the report, as you know, now, and I've heard feedback in the past that sometimes I've had students who find it kind of hard to work with a Google Doc because there are a lot of people sort of doing certain things to it or highlighting certain pieces of it and whatnot. So I've had students sort of copy over this Google Doc. If you find it distracting, feel free to copy paste this into another doc and refer to that. And that will be fine by me. And I'm not expecting any major changes to this document that I'm going to make, but I just find it easier to work with through a Google Doc because I can make changes easily for future iterations of the class and so forth. So I work with a Google Doc, but I've found students sometimes find it very distracting because like now, just like I see somebody's highlighting some things and something's happening, which is fine. I don't discourage that, but I do encourage that if you find this distracting, just copy paste it over to another file. Okay. All right, so Amanda's here. I don't know if there is a lot for Amanda to do right now, but we still thank her for her presence. But if you guys get to that point where you are having some questions, feel free to reach out to me. And I will probably start assigning folks to Breakout Room. My plan is to do that by maybe starting at 9 o'clock or so. So I will assign you to your breakout rooms around 9 o'clock. So I'm expecting you guys to be able to done with Tim's exploration by around 9 o'clock. But if you're taking a little bit longer, that's fine. And if you get done sooner, just ping me, and that will be fine as well. And let me do one more thing here. Can you look at your, so one more thing I want to ask you all is that, are you guys able to see which group you're assigned to for this lab on Canvas? So could you explore that a little bit? I want to make sure that you are able to see. So I'm looking at the student view. I'm probably not in any group there, but let's see. Okay, perfect. So you are all able to see at the very bottom. You're able to see your group. I'm not in any group, so let me do one thing. Let me. Okay, at the very bottom of the home tab. So let me do one thing real quick, because I know there might be some folks who might be having trouble. So let me stop sharing. And Jordan, if you don't mind, because you texted me, so no good deed gets punished. So what I'm going to do is, you texted me via the chat on here, is that could I give you the screen sharing privileges for a second? And sure. And you could show it to everybody. So let me, who can share? All participants. Jordan, could you go ahead and share your screen and show everybody where they can see their group? Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah, so you just start out with the home tab and then it's not shown. Okay, so it's, I guess it's different. My other screen had it over on the bottom, but this time it's over on the right. So you just click that, go to people.
Okay. Okay, it's also on the groups tab on the side panel, as Katie helpfully informs me. Thank you very much, Katie. So could you, maybe I speak too fast as well. So now that you went through it, I just want to make sure that you do it one more time slowly. So you look at course groups. Is that how you did it?
Yeah, so
on the
this
right
way, course groups is on the right. You click, it'll show you what number you are.
Okay.
And then
so you're lab 8. So you're group 8, basically. Okay. And then this is.
Then I think what someone in the chat was saying was one of these buttons, I think, is groups. Okay. Say, maybe not.
So people, under the people, so Katie's told me what. Okay, let's look at the groups tab on the side panel.
Okay. Right. Okay. So it's this one, and then it'll show you.
Okay, got it. So everybody knows how to find their group. Again, you don't have to worry about the group just yet, although you can informally chat with your groups and so forth. That's fine. But right now we're not concerned about the group. I will start putting people into breakout rooms a little bit later in the chat, and then I will add I will add Amanda to the class group as well. So if you guys have any questions later on, she might be able to answer. Amanda, right now, I'm just going to give you the co-hosting privileges. But again, there might not be any questions that come up just yet before your class starts, but that's okay. We'll when the questions come up, we'll reach out to you as needed. And I know you do have to leave at 9:40, so that should be okay. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit pause on the recording, unless there are some quick questions. I want to make sure everybody is able to see their groups. And if not, let me know. And if there are any questions, let me know as well. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and hit pause on the recording. Start recording. So yeah, go ahead, Hannah. Just share your screen and see what problem you're facing, so I can address that.
Okay, let me get this on. Okay. Let's see. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not sure if this is the same thing they did, but I went to this
Uh-huh.
tool and then number of fatalities,
Right.
and then we want a statewide summary, and then I wasn't sure if it mattered about the
No,
MPO.
MPOs will typically, they might include more than one county.
Okay.
They might include more than one county. So maybe this is where you could look at statewide summary, and this is yeah. So go ahead. Yeah. So statewide summary is fine. You won't select an MPO, I don't think.
Okay. And then this is where we were like, or at least I'm assuming they're in the same boat. What data we're looking at, because this is just
So yeah,
this
so
California,
fatalities
right?
is number of fatalities, but this is statewide though.
Yeah.
So let's see if you can figure out how to get per county.
You could just scroll up and then just highlight. Actually, why is yours not colored? That map should be colored by like the intensity of number of crashes. You should try to change the category.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. So yeah, so usually, and then you could look at some of the darker ones and you could figure out. Maybe you need to change.
Wait, go to scroll down a little bit, please.
Scroll down, yeah.
Oh, this is weird. Are you using what browser are you using?
Chrome. It could be the browser.
Yeah, try this in Safari. Yeah, that could be another problem. Like sometimes that might be an issue as well.
Let me go.
So I'm getting a quick call for help from another room. Let me see if they are having the same issue while you try a different browser. I'll join it back.
Okay.
Thank you, Hannah. Hello. Yes, what's happening?
Hello. I was just trying to figure out, I can't find a search bar or anything. So I have selected the number of fatalities.
Right.
And then
show statewide summary. The way I did it is basically this statewide map is sort of colored for me.
Yeah.
I could potentially see it as whichever ones, like I could look at, what the data I'm looking at.
Yeah.
So maybe you need to run the query once and see if that shows the colors then. But maybe run the query just run the query with the statewide data. Statewide summary is fine.
Oh, wait, statewide summary,
yeah, and then you can neglect the MPO, and then come down further down.
Okay.
Oh, so there is nothing to run there. Okay, so she was just okay. So what I'm seeing is that you want to try another browser, maybe.
Okay.
Do you have another browser? Try to see if you can, if that shows up, and I'm gonna check back. Are you using PC or Mac?
I'm on a Mac, and I think that was on Chrome, but I will try Safari.
Yeah. So I had another student who was on Mac, and on Chrome they were not seeing that.
Okay.
So I think that might be the issue. So let me go back to the main room and see if they resolved it with another browser. If not, I'll we'll have to figure something else out. So let me come right back to you. Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Megan. Okay, Hannah, did you try this? Oh, Hannah's not here anymore.
I think she figured out and she popped into her room, I think.
Okay, but she did figure out, did she use just a different browser? That helped?
I'm not too sure, but I think she was trying it.
Okay, got it. So thank you, Simon. Appreciate your help too, because yeah, I didn't realize she was on Mac. And I think there was another student on the other breakout room that was also on Mac and Chrome. So I think Mac and Chrome combo, it's not quite working, but hopefully I'll just go ahead and check with Hannah then and make sure that.
Wait, one quick.
Yeah, you have questions? Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, one of our group mates does not see the breakout room button on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, I think my Zoom's just not quite updated. I'm just.
Okay. So
is it possible to assign him?
Who is that? Who's the?
It's me.
Okay, Jason, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So, and who else is in the group?
It's me, Simon, and Christopher.
Yeah, I'm okay. I could hop in. I don't have any issues.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So one thing that you guys could do potentially is for now at least you could work in the main room for now, maybe.
Also, if you were to just assign me to breakout room
Oh, okay,
1,
okay.
that would
So,
also
okay,
work.
so you are okay. Yeah, so go ahead and do that. So which group is yours, Jason?
I think we're 1.
Okay, so I'm gonna assign you to breakout room. Yes, okay. So okay, I did that breakout room 1. So Simon, you can go there now, and Christopher, you as well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
As well,
Thank you.
or can you go?
What's up?
You want me to assign you to the room, or can you actually join that room?
You know what? Can you assign me as well? Because I can see the, oh, there we are. Perfect.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Got it. Thank you, Simon. Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm gonna go ahead and check with Hannah here, see if she was able to.
Do it the other way.
Did the problem solve with another
No.
browser? No.
No.
Okay. Mikhail and Spencer, do you guys have had the same issue or no?
Yeah, I have the
I'm
same
having
problem.
same issue.
Okay. And is it PC
Cody
or no?
showed me, or not Cody, Simon. Simon showed me his map when you left in the main room, and he said it could be like an ad blocker or something. But I think we tried.
And
that,
you
it didn't work.
and you tried the and Mikhail and Spencer, do you guys have PC or Macs?
I have a Mac.
Oh, you're all
I have a
on
Mac.
Okay, so
So
all
that
on
could
Mac.
be it.
That could potentially be it. Let's see.
Try running this in boot camp.
Let me see. What we're thinking is
I didn't know that.
no, that's okay. It shouldn't be that. That's something that it's not like a huge deal, but let's see what we can do here. And you tried Safari and both browsers, they didn't.
Yeah, I tried both browsers.
Right. Okay. Okay, let me do some quick searches on it and figure it out. But yeah, that's a known issue. So I will just make a note for everybody in the class that this is a known issue. And well, you guys can start proceeding to the research question part of it.
Mhm.
If you and maybe you can answer other maybe you won't be able to answer any of the other ones either then other than by doing manually, which I don't want you to do. So why don't you guys kind of start thinking about the research question, and I will just make sure that we try to figure out what we can do, and I'll probably do the Google search on it as well.
I can try opening it on the virtual desktops.
Oh yeah, that would work. Yeah, that would definitely. Yeah, so go ahead and try that. So that would be a good solution to do that. And if it works, let me know so that I can sort of broadcast it out to everybody in the class, because I'm sure there are other folks who might be having the same problem.
Okay, yeah, I'll try that right now then.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Hannah.
Yeah.
Hi, Megan. It appears that I wouldn't solve that problem either, which you might have found out. So I think the way to solve it is that maybe you have, so one of my other groups is trying, because they're all on Macs.
Okay.
They're all, they none of them can actually see it. I believe Cody and Leslie, are you on Macs or PC?
PC.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you're on PC, you probably can try to answer that questions, right?
Okay. Yeah, both have access.
Right. So
So
one thing,
just
maybe you might want to try, like if you're interested, one solution to try might be that you can access that Citrix thing.
Okay, and then do
try that.
Okay.
One of the other group is trying as well. So if I hear from them, I'll let you know, but maybe that might be something to try.
Okay.
But also, like, once we resolve it one way or the other, you can work with your group mates on this. That's fine. And then,
Okay.
so once we resolve it, then you guys can start formulating your research questions. Okay?
Great. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Megan. So once you have formulated the research questions, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and post it in your pinned discussion on your group homepage. So this is how you do it. You go to your, and I'm going to share the screen. So you go to, let's say you are group 5. So let's say you're on your page and you go to people and then you get to groups, Tim's lab group. And then you go to your group homepage. So visit group homepage. So I'm going to go ahead and group to group homepage 5. No, you guys are which group? William?
4.
4, group 4. Okay, so I'm going to go to your group homepage. So visit group homepage. So once you go to group homepage, there is a discussion tab on the left there. So discussion tab. And what I will do is I will just add a pinned discussion. And I will just say research question. And I will go ahead and post what you guys just sent me in chat. So I'll just go ahead and
I think I just put it in there too.
Yeah, no, I just want to do it because I'm recording this as well. So I just went ahead and record. And so I will just say save and publish. So research question gets, so I don't know if there is a way to pin this, but that's okay. So just add that to your discussion board. And now, if I go to group homepage, there's like one discussion in there on research questions. So anytime I want to be able to access it, I will be able to. So I want you to, I know I earlier asked you guys to put that in the chat window, but if we're in the breakout rooms, I can't really access, you can't really access the chat window to send me a message. So this way is much better. Just post your research question in the discussion tab before you leave today. That'll be great. Okay. So or as soon as you can if you've already left. Okay. And again, not everybody has to do it. Just one person per group would be fine. And I know I did that for group 4, but all the other groups can do it for themselves. Thank you. So let me go ahead and pause the recording. So I'm going to stop share, pause the recording. So one thing, as I mentioned earlier, that if you could post it over to your discussion board in your group homepage, that would be great. And the other instruction I have for you is that we will have some time to work on this lab next Thursday. So next Thursday would be, I will not be assigning any new lab. So this is the lab you'll be working on. But I strongly recommend that you get started with downloading the data and maybe start on some coding so that you can come prepared with some coding questions for the lab next Thursday. And the benefit of that would be that we will have our TA available for us to answer any questions in the first 1.5 hours. So you'll have more help. So it will be very helpful for everybody if you came prepared with your coding questions next Thursday. So to be able to do that, you will have to get started on that coding, before that. So please go ahead and get started on downloading the data, trying to clean up the data to answer any research questions you might have, and then come prepared with your coding questions next Thursday. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say. Thank you. So a couple of things I want to note here as we are doing this, as you're working on your lab assignment, please post your research questions as the pinned discussion, as I discussed earlier. So that's one thing. Second thing is that our TA would be there next Thursday. So come prepared with any coding questions you might have. She would in fact be there on Tuesday as well. So if you do some downloading of the data, importing it into R, and then maybe get started on some coding, you can answer or you can ask some questions of Amanda and me at the beginning of the lab session on Thursday, as well as the lab lecture session on coming Tuesday as well. So that might be helpful if you got started with coding. So you can make significant progress next Thursday, and then be ready to submit by the deadline. Now, the deadline for this lab is February 4th. And on February 4th, the question is that have been asked is that it's due at the end of the lab, but I don't expect you to use that full time of the lab to work on this report. It will be okay if you're doing some final formatting changes. Maybe you spend like maybe half an hour, 50 minutes, 1 hour or so on this lab. That might be acceptable, but I will assign a new lab. So I don't expect, and I don't want you guys to work on this lab on February the 4th for the full 3 hours. Maybe spending some time on it is okay. It is due at the end of the lab, but I will start a new lab that day that will keep you engaged So don't expect to work full time on this lab on February the 4th. So make significant progress, get started on downloading the data even before next Tuesday, and go ahead and do that. And again, reach out if you have any questions, and Amanda and I would be happy to answer it any time. Early in the class on Tuesday and anytime on Thursday as well. So just start on the coding a little bit before you come to the next session. Thank you. One more thing I wanted to note was that your research questions may relate to any data that you might find on TIMS. They need not be related to the US 101 SLO County query that I asked you to run. That query is there just to familiarize you with the query tool. But your research questions could be any data set on TIMS. You don't have to limit yourself to SLO County and or the 101 US 101 corridor in SLO County. Thank you. So the final thing I wanted to note for today's lecture is that I have sent out the last few items that I discussed on this recording. I have sent out an email with those items, so please check that out. And yeah, have a great weekend. I will see you next time.